Hi, I am Dr. Eurydice Moore with Eurydice, MBE, WBE certified consulting firm, and I want to come and talk to you about four books, but I'm going to talk about one book today. This book came about with a grant. Yes, there are grants just about for everything. I have gotten a grant for to pay my business license. I gotten two grants to pay my accountant for my tax year 2020 and my tax year 2019. I have gotten grant for operational costs that paid the rent, utility, phone bill, and professional services. I have gotten a marketing grant that I shared with you earlier in the week about the Comcast Rise grant. I've got that grant where I got two laptops and a tablet. There is grant just about for anything you want to do. You just have to look. You just have to look. So I'm going to talk about one of the books. I don't know if you can see this well. Let me pull it back. But this is one of four books that was paid for by a grant. The publisher was paid out of a grant to do four books for me, for the company. And it was a business startup grant. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself, about my story, and then I'm going to go into this book. The title of this broadcast is Not for Profit Business. Do you want to start a nonprofit? Do you want to do it yourself? You can go to an attorney and you could pay anywhere from $4,000 and up to form your nonprofit. It can be very costly, but I have a book that's a guide that tells you step by step. I don't know if you can see it this way. It tells you step by step how to do a nonprofit. And this book is available at McClure Publishing Company, or you can go to Amazon. I'm gonna type it in and let me see. And oh Lord. Okay. Amazon.com. And all you got to do is type in Eurydice more and then books. And this book has gotten a 5-star rating, or you can go to my publisher website, McClure Publishing, I believe it's .com, and you can get this book that will tell you step by step how to set up a nonprofit. So, if you want a school, let's say you want to set up a school, you can get the book. Youth services. You see these teenagers out here and they need guide, they need help. You can set up a nonprofit, get the book. Seniors. Let's talk about some of the things. Seniors. Okay, let's say you want to do a senior daycare center. There's a lot of seniors, they reach a certain age, they cannot be home alone, but they are not in a condition to be placed in nursing homes. So they have like daycare, just like you have daycare for children, there's daycare for seniors. You might want to do that. Or you might want to do home health care. or you might want to have like a little living center for maybe two seniors, and get funded for that and take care of them. I know a lot of LPN, RN do that. You might want to start an agency. Let's say you're a social worker and you want to start your own social worker firm, and you want it to be non for profit so you could be eligible for grants. You could do that. Let's say you are into radio and television broadcasting, whether it's YouTube or whether it's podcast or a major network or independent network. Okay. You could be nonprofit, just like Channel 11 in Chicago, PBS. And I know PBS reach a lot of stations. They are a non-for-profit. So just about anything you want to do, from broadcasting, youth services, after school program, summer camp, year in, year round, daycare. Your daycare center could be nonprofit or it could be for profit. There's a lot of things that you can do. Okay, you can take care of seniors, you take care of the youth, women, and children. Maybe you want to open up a shelter. You feel like there's not enough shelter. Maybe you want to open up a transitional housing. Maybe you want to develop, you want to be a non-for-profit housing developer. You could do that and provide low to moderate income or affordable housing. And you could do that as a nonprofit. You want to provide housing services where you assist people in finding rental housing or housing mortgages, where you can teach workshops on how to acquire housing step by step, what's required. So you could do a lot of things. I have had people to come to me and say they had ideas, they got a dream, but they didn't know how or where to start. So get the book, Nonprofit, Not for Profit Business. The book title, Not for Profit Business. Oops. Okay, I did. Not for Profit Business. That is the book that you can get from Amazon or you can get it from McClure Publishing Company. And I'm going to share some tips out the book. How many pages it got? It got about 79, 79 pages. It's an easy read. You can get this in paperback, okay, format. It has a 5-star rating, and I'm very proud and happy to say that it was rated 5 stars. And so you can go to Amazon or you can go to McClure Publishing Company. So a little bit about myself. I was raised by my great grandmother, my mother. Okay, can you imagine that? My mother, which means she was about 62 when she got me. My mother got married young. The marriage didn't work. They went their separate ways, and I ended up at Big Mama house. Okay, some of you have Big Mamas, some of you have Mud Deers, some of you have both. I had both. I had me a Big Mama, and I had me a Mud Deer. And Mud Deer worked every day. Big Mama was home with me, but the Lord used her to shape and form my character and to make me the woman that I am today. Now, even though she was at home, she was a God fearing woman. Okay, the link to buy the book is in the chat in the description. I'm sorry. Back to Big Mama. So Big Mama, even though she was home, she had two things going on that would later shape my life and thrust me into what I am doing now. So the harvest has come forth, and she had planted many seeds. Okay, seed number one, she was a charitable woman. She had a heart for people. Not only was she Big Mama in the family, she was Big Mama in the community. So if you wanted something to eat, you go to Big Mama house. She had a pot of chili on the stove, good old cornbread. And if she didn't have cornbread, she had the oyster crackers. Remember the oyster crackers? And you got you a glass of water. She was charitable. If you didn't have nowhere to stay, you stayed with Big Mama. She raised other people's children, non-relative. Okay. So she had a charitable spirit about her that would descend on me. Okay. And not only that, but she was an entrepreneur. Way before they coined the phrase entrepreneur. From her home, she owned a building. It was a family building. So she was in real estate. She was a property manager. She collected the rent. She had that. That's three occupations right there. Okay. Then she baked. She baked them good old sweet potato pies and she sold them. Okay. Then she started what is called doilies. You rarely see them today. But back in the 30, 40, 50, doilies was popular. It was like lace items that you set a lamp into. They call them doilies. And then after a while, they started getting limp, and then they needed to be washed and starched. So she worked with doilies. She did that. She made quilts. Yes, quilts from old clothes and old coats. And she had me do a couple of stitches. So she made quilts and she sold them. She also sold snowballs. So this lady had a lot going for herself. She would always have wads of money. Money came to her every day. She had several things going on. In other words, she had multiple streams of income. That's what you should have as a non for profit and a for profit. There should be several streams of income, and there should be residual income and investment income. Money is out there, but we just don't know where to go. So myself and others are out here blowing the trumpet in Zion so that people can align themselves with God and be directed and led to where the resources are for the non-for-profit and the for-profit. So my great grandmother raised me and she lived to be 85 years of age. She had a chance to see me graduate from college the first time. I've been in college. My mother might as well have birthed me out in the schoolyard at the door of school. I've been blessed to have 7 degrees. And coming up, I was a very sick child, very sick. I was in and out of doctor offices. And the doctors back in the day, well, they started back now. Back in the day, they did a lot of house visits. Sometimes I was too sick to get out of bed. And Dr. Keith, he would come by and take care of me. And then, I was sick all the time. I would go to school and I had no idea what the teacher was talking about. I blank out. or I couldn't concentrate because I was so sick. And then I would miss days, sometimes weeks out of school. And when I got back, when I left, they was on page 5. When I got back, they was on page 15. And then I was in a room with 40, 50 kids. And back then, they didn't have tutoring services. All these services they got now, they didn't have those when I was coming up. So I got behind. And guess what? It reflected on my report card. My report card would have U's and F's. U stood for unsatisfactory, F stood for fair. So all the way up to the 5th grade, I knew when my teacher handed me my report card what was going to be on it. That last time, that was one time too many, and I was in tears. And I went home, and I thought Big Mom was going to beat me by now because all I had to do was go to school and learn. That was my job. That was my job. Go to school and learn. And I couldn't do that. And I stood in front of this 300-pound woman with a gold tooth in the front of her mouth with cat eye glasses. And she looked at my report card and she had a toothpick and she was going in between her teeth. And I was waiting for the verdict. I was standing in front of her and I had my head down. And I said, Big Mama, I'm so tired of making bad grades. The woman had a lot of wisdom. She knew it was beyond her and she could not help me. She told me to go into my room, get on my knees, and talk to God Almighty, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, because she knew she couldn't help me. Because I was in 5th grade, and from kindergarten on up, it was U's and F's. And I had the rest of my life to get through. And I needed a breakthrough. So she said, go in your room, get on your knees, and talk to God. And I went in my room. I was 10 years old, and I got on my knees and I looked up. Now, she always talked to me about the Lord. My family had a Christian background, Baptist. And she always talked about the Lord. And, and she took me to church services, but I didn't know him. He was like a fable, a fable. He ranked with Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Did I say that right? Sleeping Beauty, Batman, Spider-Man, the Green Hornet. He was a fairy tale to me. He just didn't seem real. And she told me to go get on my knees and talk to God. I was desperate. I got tired of seeing U's and F's. And I went in my room. I got on my knees, looked up towards heaven because she told me the Lord was in heaven. And I said, God, if you are up there, please help me. I'm tired of making U's and F's. A simple prayer from a 10-year-old, one sentence. Got up, went outside, and played. Back in the day, we used to play green light, red light, hopscotch, it, tag, uh, dodgeball. Simon Said. We played all those little childhood games. We had fun back there. Wasn't nobody shooting nobody. We stayed outside. Wasn't no ducking and the most they did if you fell out with somebody would pull your hair. That was it. They ain't even use knife. They used their fist. Okay. And the most you got was a scratch on your face. They tried to scratch your face up. But this stuff that they doing these days, Lord have mercy. But back to the story, that was a commercial break. So she called me in for supper. We call supper. It's called dinner now. And I sat at the table. And all of a sudden, my people didn't know about healing. They didn't know about speaking in tongues. They didn't know about faith. They had the fundamental of Christianity. They knew about water baptism. They knew about God. They knew Old Testament, New Testament, and that was it. Go to church on Sunday, pay your tithes, and give your offering. And the 10 Commandments, that was it. But the healing and deliverance and the faith, speaking in tongues, they never heard of it. So I was sitting at the kitchen table, and the Lord came upon me. And I felt something moving around in my head, and it was popping. And then I felt something like a wave. It started at my head and went to the pit of my stomach. Then I got up and I went to the bathroom and I passed a mass. I passed a mass out of my body. And then after that, I wasn't sick anymore. I was able to stay in the classroom. I was able to stay in school. Those U's and F's turned to E's and G's. I graduated out of grammar school. I graduated number 12 out of a class of 170 out of high school. And then the Lord blessed me to receive my first degree, was an associate degree in medical laboratory technology. And I worked in hospitals. And then he went on and blessed me with a bachelor, 2 masters, one in human services administration, the other one in urban education, 3 doctorate degree, one in biblical studies, one in theology, and the last one was in pastoral counseling. The Lord did that. Nothing I done. The Lord did that. Then he allowed me, the kid that couldn't learn was learning everything now. Then he allowed me to work in 15 different careers, not jobs, careers. I've been a healthcare professional, social worker, educator, minister, and I'm still a minister. Now, non for profit. Now I'm into for profit, governmental contractor. Um, I've been a chaplain for a prison. All type. I worked in elementary school, high school. I worked for social service agencies. So, and that grant writer, and many of my gifts that the Lord gave me, they overlap each other. And many of the gifts that the Lord has given me, they work together. So, and then he made me an author in 2016 and had me the author 4 books that were paid for with a grant. As I said before, there's grant money out there for everything. You can even use grant money to buy stamp, envelope, mailing. Yep. You grant money just about anything, but you got to justify it. You can use grant money to buy living room furniture, household products, office furniture, but you got to justify it. How do you justify it? You got to have that 501c3. You have to be incorporated first, then have the 501c3. You can use grant money to obtain products. I have obtained free printers, computers. You know, uh, it's just so many ways that you could use grant money, but it had to be legal, legitimate, and justifiable. So that's my story. Uh, and then I worked in many hospitals. I worked at University of Illinois, Mary Thompson Hospital, Cook County, Rush Presbyterian St. Luke. I worked there. And then from there, the Lord supernaturally moved me into the school system, made me a high school teacher, science teacher, a work study coordinator, a science chairperson, just did a lot of things. Then end up in social services and grant writing and program development and designing programs, and the list is endless. The business have been my first business was started in 2004, and it was doing 501c3s, incorporations and 501c3, and workshop teaching people. And then after that, in 2016, a second business surfaced, which is the grant writing. But I have been writing grants since April 1985, and I have serviced over 12,000 people by providing free grant information, doing informational sessions, doing workshops, 501c3s. And then, then in 2016, God was like, it's time to revisit the grant writing. Time to revisit the grant writing because this is the season for grants and this is the season for governmental contracts. This is the season. So you need to get ready. So for those of you that want to start non-for-profit, then your first step, and you don't have the money, because like I said, to start a nonprofit could be 4,000 and up. But you could go the DIU way. DIU means do it yourself. You could purchase this book, and I'm going to read some items. And I was sharing a little history with you. You know, I dedicate this book to Anna. I'm Anna Baby, and I'm Annie Girl. Anna is my great grandmother, and Annie is my grandmother on my mother's side. And I want to give a shout out to Rita McClendon, which is my daughter, who is my partner in business, my partner in crime. Rita, 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 Rita. And Rita set up the StreamYard, the YouTube, all the social media. She's a technical person. God has given her a lot of wisdom. So, all right, I'm going to share. This is a step-by-step book. It's a workbook. You are taught first, and then you're given an exercise. Real life exercise. The first thing you should do if you're thinking about a nonprofit, you need to find you at least 3 people. You need board members. They call this your initial board. The 3 of you sit down, meet, somebody take what is called minutes and write the minutes down. What is the minutes? Simply a little summary of where you met, who was at the meeting, what day you met, what time you met, what was talked about, what was discussed. That's it. That's your first meeting. So you need to come up with a name. What is going to be the name of the nonprofit? And you want that name to kind of correlate with what you're going to do, the services that you're going to provide. Okay. So you want the name and services to kind of match. Okay. You don't want to be given a name. You look at the name and you know you're talking about domestic violence, but then you're offering a free trip to the skating ring. All right, that's something that would be more like youth services. So you want things to match. So in this book, you are advised to come up with a name, come up with what your activities. You want a mission statement. What is your mission? What is your purpose for forming? Okay. I already told you about the board. I already talked to you how you need to keep minutes. And in the book is a sample. I don't think you can see it. Oh, okay. Look, that's a sample minute. Okay. Let's see what else covered in this book. Okay. Hmm. You need a mission statement. What is it you want to do now? And you need a vision statement. What is you want to do in the future? Where do you see the organization in the next 5 to 10 years? You know, you see yourself national, international. What so you want to do that. Let's see. Okay. Then this book also talks about incorporation. Whatever state you are located in, you need to contact the Secretary of State and request an article of incorporation form. And every state form look different, but guess what? Each state are asking for similar information. They want to know the name, address, city, state, zip. They want to know who is the registered agent. You need to pick a registered agent. A registered agent is a person that it's like a contact person. If the state need to get in contact with your organization, who can they send the mail to? Okay? You need a registered agent. Then your 3 board members, at least, they want the board members. Now, when it comes to board members, the minimum is 3, but you can have as many board members as you want. There's no limit on the number of board members. And guess what? Your board members can live in the same state or they can live in another state. Let's say you in Illinois and you got a board member in Indiana. That's okay. Let's say you're in Illinois and you got a board member in California. That's okay. Let's say you are in Illinois in the United States of America and you got a board member in Paris. Oui. That's okay too. Your board members can be from the States or can be overseas. But guess what? Your registered agent must be a resident of the state that your non for profit is located in. That is mandatory. That is not an option. Okay. So we talk about that in the book. Then we talk about how your nonprofit needs what is called a 501c3. I had a lady to call me up, a pastor. She said, everywhere I turn, they want to know if I got a 501c3. Yes, they want to know if you got the 501c3. Yes. There's no way around it. There are no loopholes. The funders want to know if you got the 501c3 because that's how they get their tax write-off. That's how their taxes, corporate taxes, are reduced. They pay less taxes. Plus, they made a promise that they would give back to the community, and that's they proof that they gave back in the form of grants. So, let's get the paperwork together. So you can contact me at Eurydice. Look at the screen. That's my email. That's my phone number. and say, I am in need of a 501c3. And we provide affordable services. If you go to an attorney, you will pay anywhere from $4,200 and up for that 501c3. You go to a CPA, you would pay anywhere from $2,500 and up for that 501c3. Here at Eurydice, we provide affordable services. If you need a payment plan, we do that. We take Visa, Master, Discover. We take the major credit card, MasterCard. We also take PayPal payment, and we take Zelle. Okay? So we work with people because we know everybody don't have it like that. Okay? And plus, this is ministry for me because God had woke me up and said, I want you to teach my people everything you know, and I want you to help them. So I'm not the only one out here blowing the trumpet in Zion. There are others that God has appointed, ordained, and has raised up and will raise up to help his people. Because some of these people out here have actually lost their mind on some of the prices for things we charge. And then, if you absolutely positively don't have any money, there are resources that can be given to you to help you. Okay? There are places that I can refer you to that can help you. Then you can always DIY. DIY, I'm sorry. That means I'm trying to situate this so you can see this. Buy this book. I think this book is only $18. What is $18 when you can get hundreds, millions of dollars and setting up your non for profit? Okay. So we're gonna be closing very soon. I'm gonna give a couple of more things that this book it talks about the importance of following directions. Many times applications are kicked out or returned because people are not following directions. Many times denials come because people have not followed direction. So it talks about following direction. The book also talks about that if you're going to open up a nonprofit with the purpose of helping people, then you got to like people. If you don't like people, you don't need to set up no nonprofit. And then another misconception that people have is they feel like the nonprofit belongs to them. No, the nonprofit do not belong to you. It belongs to the state in which the nonprofit resides. It belongs to the people of the state. If you want something to belong to you, you do a for profit. You do a LLC, sole proprietor, do a Inc., do a S Corp, C Corp, partnership, general partnership, so on and so forth. I got you. Whether you're a non for profit or whether you're a for profit, I got you. You can see my email and you see my phone number scrolling. I am a business consultant with Eurydice, a certified consulting firm with MBE, WBE, BEP, and just recently a DBE certification. I'm a business consultant and also a governmental contractor. So contact me. You need help. And remember, I have books. If you want to get into the do it yourself program, I have a do it yourself program, DIY. Now I'm going to cover three more items in non for profit setup. That's a must. You must have an email, you must have a website for your nonprofit, and you must have a nonprofit business bank account. Do not use your personal bank account. You gotta have a business bank account in the name of the non-for-profit, or it will hinder you from receiving any grant. Because all the grants, they want to know if you got a bank account. Very few funders are mailing out checks anymore. They are asking for routing numbers and bank account numbers, and they're doing wire transfer. So, an email, you need to have a business email in your non for profit. The recommended email is Gmail. You need a website. You can go to wix.com, wix.com, wix.com. Or you can go to, I forgot this other one I use. I know those two. They have free website, and then you can get the packages if you want to add on. But you can start off free. Okay. So if you want to do it yourself, set up your own non for profit, I recommend that you get this book. You can get this book from Amazon or McClure Publishing Company. So the links are inside of the chat. If you want a free 15-minute consultation, you can contact me at the information below, email, or the phone number. We are here to serve you. Okay? Ciao. I'm leaving now. You need help, contact me. Anna baby is gone. Annie girl is gone. God bless. Enjoy the rest of the evening or day, depending on when you see this. See you.